What did Red Bull say when you said, I want to find the hardest, most difficult thing, and then we're going to hold a race down it?
They loved it. Well, it was a very simple conversation with Red Bull, and it was me and Dan talking about how cool it would be to just build, the gnarliest track we possibly could make and then invite loads of people to it and race down it. Me and Athy have always talked about how the World Cups aren't hard enough, and we'd come home and be riding tracks that were so hard, and then feel like we dialed things down when we went to World Cups, which in our eyes was a little bit backwards. We wanted.
Right. And you were known for that at that point, because that hardline, where it is, the route of it, is one of your first tracks. It didn't look like it does now, but it's one of the very first tracks you added when you moved to North Wales to basically get better at downhill, right?
Yeah, that's it. And the way Athy used to find tracks to build, he would look on an OS map and be like, right, what's the biggest mountain we can find with a fire road to the top? And he would find, this one that Hardline's on.
Is that what it was?
Wow.
And it's the biggest mountain around that area with fire road access to uplift. And we built this really gnarly downhill track down it, and it kind of, after a while, we didn't ride it and we forgot about it. And then when we had this conversation with Red Bull, almost straight away, Athy's like, I know exactly where we should go. I know just the place for it.
And is it true, on a side note, that Petey went practicing with you there once and broke himself?
Yeah.
We won 17 World Cups, Steve Petey, of course.
Petey and Pagey and a few other lads, and me and Athy were so excited they were coming down, and we were like, we've got to take them to the gnarliest track we can, they'll love it. And first day, first run, he crashed and broke his finger. And
oh my goodness.
They were raging, they were like, we're going home.
Hey, why did you do this?
But that was this hardline track.
What did Red Bull say when you said the exact same thing you just said? I want to find the hardest, most difficult thing, and then we're going to hold a race down it.
They loved it. and me and Dan were like looking at each other like, I think they mean it. I think they're going to let us do it.
No way.
And Red Bull were like, we don't really know what you're going to do, but it sounds cool. And then we were like building this track, and then we weren't really sure whether the event was going to happen or not. And Red Bull, I don't think really were sure at the time. And then anyway, we were like, right, we've built the track, let's do it. And then they came and looked at it, and they were like, okay, is this like,
when you guys got to finish it or whatever?
Yeah, they were like, is this okay? Will people be fine on this? And we were like, yeah, it's fine. The riders will love it.
It's mellow.
So we had this track, and we had this gnarly, sketchy course, and we invite a load of riders over. Hardline number 1 starts, and I think we ended up with like 8 people in the final.
Do you think the first edition was maybe a little ambitious?
Well,
in hindsight,
yes. Just go through that first week, because I was racing World Cups at that point, and the whole season was talk about Gee, they're going to do hardline, and it's going to be the hardest, the canonical most difficult track is Val di Sole, and it was kind of the way it was described was, we're going to do Val di Sole with the biggest jumps you've ever hit on a downhill bike. So the hardest trails, exactly what you said. And it wasn't, like Rob said, it wasn't all smooth sailing first year.
No, it really wasn't. And we were like, me and Athy were riding, and the way we used to do it was, we'd get everything built and then we'd test it all. And me and Athy would just take it in turns, going down, testing it, making sure it worked, guinea pigging everything. And then we were like, right, it's fine, everyone's going to be fine with that. It all works. And then everyone turned up, and they were like, what is this? Like, they didn't like it. They were like not really keen on it. And
No one, I don't think anyone had ever seen anything.
No, they'd never.
Never had anything like that put in front of them before. Everyone was miles out of their comfort zone.
A little bit. And I think because we saw it grow bit by bit, we had our heads around it. But if you turn up and it's just there and someone's like, right, off you go, that's quite intimidating.
And it was quite difficult, because around 30 riders turned up, and by the time we got to the Saturday or the Sunday of the race, there was literally 8 people left to ride. 22 people had disconned. Bike failures, crashes. There was people landing up in trees and having to climb down. It was madness.
It was.
Reece Wilson landed halfway up a tree.
Right.
It was like the Wild West. It was mad.
Best riders in the world as well.
Yeah.
There was lads going off to local garages to get bits of their bikes welded.
Wow,
they wanted to race the next day.
Yeah, it was absolutely madness.
Yeah.